Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order and advise that the meeting is being video recorded and live streamed. I ask if there's a disclosure of interest. As there is none, we have a resolution moved and seconded to adopt the agenda with the following additions, and I am going to read the 2 pages. The following items have been added as new business. Number 1, reports of municipal officers, report 2026-17, pothole prevention and repair program transfer payment agreement. Report number 2026.18, fire protection grant transfer payment agreement. And bylaws bylaw number 08-2026, page 180 in the agenda has been amended to read year 2026, not 2025, and enacted and passed this 28th day of January 2026, not this 27th day. Bylaw number 09-2026, transfer payment agreement with the Ministry of Transportation for the pothole prevention and repair prevention. And the C, bylaw number 10-2026, transfer payment agreement with Solicitor General for the fire protection grant. Got to get the second page open here. 10G, email from Andrew Sinclair dated January 26, 2026, requesting a member of council to attend and provide remarks on February 2nd, 2026 at 8 p.m. for the send-up of the Kakabeka Falls Curling Club team heading to the Under-18 Canadian Championships. 11, petitions and communications for information only. A letter from Dodie Legrasic, nuclear lead, Environment North, and Wendy O'Connor, member, We the Nuclear Free North, dated January 19, 2026, requesting the municipality to participate in the impact assessment process to ensure that the concern of our residents regarding the risks and hazards associated with transportation of nuclear waste are adequately addressed. And number 17, the final one, the confirmation of the meeting bylaw number 09-2026, item 1 on page 2013 has been revised by renumbering the bylaw to 11-2026 and removing the word special. Can you remember all of those? So again, the resolution has been moved and seconded with those additions. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. First item we have is a minutes of the public meeting held on January the 13th. We have a resolution that's been moved and seconded to approve these minutes. Were there any errors or omissions? Page 11-14. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Was there any discussion on those minutes? As there is none, we have a resolution approving the council meeting minutes held on January 13th as provided. Were there any errors or omissions? Page 15-29. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Any discussion on those minutes? Councillor Viss.
Yes, just for information purpose, on page 14, the request to assume ownership of New Road. We received an email from Wayne Hanchard regarding a question that had put forward by Councillor Peacock regarding the water situation on that property. So I did a bit of study back, and I was going to call her, but then I thought, I don't remember who was sitting around the table. I know you and I were at that time. But anyway, there was a request for a municipal drain called now today Templeman Drain.
Mm-hmm.
They did a water study on and where the water came from because it affected, they thought, their property. The study showed from where, way up in Baird, so that's for the little church and all that area flowed towards south and east. It ended up so that it came down and it crossed the Templeman property. The reason I'm saying that, because your request was, does it affect the Roslyn water system? Well, this study showed it does not. It all flowed the other way. And from when they did the waterway in there, one came out there by the truck stop and it flowed there and went east, and the far one at the 25th. So I just thought, rather than just phoning you, so anybody that wasn't around here, that study was done. So really the development of those 5 lots there has nothing to do with the water situation in the Roslin situation because it has shown it all goes to the east, okay? So that's the only thing I thought I should, I don't know how many people, I know you and I were on the table. Were
Yes.
you here at that time? Okay, I thought that. So I said I should tell everybody so you know where we're at. So that's the only thing I have. Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion? Yes, Councillor Peacock?
Good morning and thank you. With regard to, let's see, page 19, resolution number 7, and that was for the single source by vendor. Just wondering if we are, as mentioned by the treasurer during our budget meetings, we were supposed to be Buy Ontario first. So I'm just wondering if those people who are single source are Ontario companies or able to provide their product from Ontario as encouraged. So I can leave that with anybody.
Yeah.
And for the material that we're accepting from the landfill site, is it coming in regular hours or do we have to open up the landfill site otherwise?
Which material would you be asking?
I'm
about?
sorry, the Conservation Authority, the loads from the Conservation Authority.
Okay.
Through the chair, we're not currently accepting any material right now.
Okay.
That job's on hold.
Okay. And what was my other note here? Again, with regard to that, the proposed road for Twin City Crossroads, I would just, it was based on the premise that it would be, the lots would be severed under Committee of Adjustment and not infilling. So when I look at the bylaw that was passed with regard to infilling, it doesn't appear that they meet the requirements. So those are just my thoughts.
Okay.
I
Thank you.
appreciate them. Thank you.
Thank you for your thoughts. Any other comments on the minutes? No. Okay, thank you. And then we have a resolution moved and seconded to accept the special council meeting held on January the 15th. Were there any errors or omissions? That's page 30 to 34. All in favor? Any discussion on those minutes? Okay, we shall move forward then. The first item under reports of municipal officers is the 2026 budget approval. We do have on a separate page or separate on our desk here, a package with in regards to the budget approval. It just explains whatever happened or what was done since our last, I believe since the last draft, and that some of the changes that made, and they're just explained in there for you. But we do have a resolution that we recommend the budget of 2026 be approved. Again, that resolution has been moved and seconded, and it's open for discussion. Yes, Councillor Peacock.
On today's agenda, we do have a few additions that need to be added to, and without a definite idea as to where we're at, I understand that the a report came with our agenda, that's fine. But I would really like to see something further than expenses as of September 30th. Because if that's the book that gets published on our website, added to the 2026 budget, we aren't being accountable. Like when you look on our website, you look under finance and you look under budgets, and it indicates the previous year and the current year when it's posted. But we don't have any idea where we're at the end of last year. So I prefer that we have that information and hold off passing this bylaw until next meeting, which is only 2 weeks away. And yes, I understand that we have things that we want to get started on, but will 2 weeks really matter? Anyways, those are my thoughts. And at this time, I'm not prepared to pass the budget.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Viss.
Yeah, I'll speak to that. And you are correct. There's a lot of stuff that we don't have yet. But what is out on the website is 2026 budget to 2025 budget, not the actual numbers are there. You see, 2025 actual has absolutely nothing to do with the budget 2026. It's something that's been done. You can't change it. You can like it, you can dislike it. You can't do absolutely nothing about it. All those years when I've been sitting on this council, we used to do exactly what you were asking. We waited till everything came. So about March or so on, we finally passed a budget. Guess what? By that time, we put a project out in the market. The contractors had, that's secondary, and it went way up. So by luck, when I was at one of those provincial meetings, I heard some people talking. They say, we got to get that budget going. We got to get ahead of everybody because people are hungry. They want a job. And I came home and I said, this is what I heard people, it makes some sense. And that's why we start the budget back in November as we do now, for that purpose. So again, but the actuality has absolutely nothing. You can't change that. So far, all the years I've been on, we've been on the surplus side. So at the end of the year, if there's a surplus, you put it in the working reserve fund. Should there be a deficit, you would take it out of there and balance the whole thing. So the only thing that changes is the numbers that's in the reserve working fund. And so we have to pass it. We have to get the jobs out there. Either that, or are you willing to pay that extra price? So I'm all, because you can't change anything because it's fact. Why would we not pass the 2026 budget? It does not reflect. So I have to agree, we have to pass it.
Yes.
With regard to that, then, why do we even put the 2025 budget in on the,
Well, it's a fact. It's there.
mhm.
But the actual isn't there, Donna. So you see, you're going to wait for all that. It'll be another 2 months.
I mean, when we post it online, perhaps we don't need to post the 2025 actuals. We could post the budget for 2025 and then the 2026 as a comparison.
That'd be
But-
good enough. Yeah, but just
but-
put the two budgets. That's all you need. I mean, the action is not completed until it's finally, and
I
not
realize that.
until the auditors finally come when it's reality. So,
Mhm.
I mean, and so I think I'm willing to, I have to pass
Yeah.
that budget
Yeah.
because we got to get on with it.
I echo Councillor Vista's remarks too, and top of that, we've met our target, like we had set 2.5 as a target, we're well below that even. So like our numbers are very good. We brought them down where we asked for and they've done the job, and I think we've met where we need to go. So I'm all for it.
Any comment? Nope.
So, yeah, my only comment, I generally agree with Councillor Viss and Councillor Calvert. And I appreciate the concern that Councillor Peacock has, but the reality is this is the budget document that ultimately the accounting changes that are going to happen for 2025 that have already happened, as has been outlined by Councillor Viss, are not going to materially change what we do for 2026. Like it's not like we're waiting to see if something makes a big change in 25 and it's going to change. I for myself anyways, it wouldn't make a difference for my opinion on the 26 budget. So I think it's appropriate to pass it now.
Okay. All righty, so we do have the resolution, pardon? John? Oh,
Yeah, sorry, I was just going to respond. So there's a couple of things. So first off is that we do a quarterly variance report. So we will do the quarter variance report for December 31st in February, which is what we
well,
do.
there isn't a company in the world that can do a year end or even a previous quarter end until a couple months later, because that's when you have all the statements from the banks and the visas and everything. So you
Yeah.
cannot do it right away.
Yes, we have to, we
Have to
have to wait. Unfortunately, we have to wait for vendors to send us
That's right.
invoices. So it does, they typically send them out after the end of the month. So we have to wait a couple of weeks into January before we get them. And
Bank
then it
statements,
takes time for us to enter them and allocate them to the proper accounts, that type of stuff. So we will continue to do the quarterly variance reports, and we will do a fourth quarter variance report for 2025. Also, last year, I believe we redid the budget book to include the December 31st numbers. And I believe that was also done in February. So also, and then the other thing is that our third quarter variance report showed that in operations, we were trending positively. And we were trending positively in capital. And in the budget report that I did, I show that there's 1.3 million approximately of capital jobs that we're not going to do that were in the 2025 budget. They will not be completed in 2025. Some of them are being carried forward. Some of them are being dropped altogether. So that will show that again, that we're trending positively. Well, we'll be, I guess, overly positive, if you will, for the 2025 year, and especially with regards to capital. And then anything that wasn't in the budget from third quarter or that occurred in fourth quarter would have come to you for a council resolution.
That's right.
Right, so you guys are aware of any capital expenses that we put in that wasn't, so there was the museum, like $3,500 for electrical, I think it was, and then there was some electrical and alarm work, those type of things were added, but they were through council resolutions again.
That's right.
So anyway, but the main point though being is that the 2026 budget is forward looking.
Right.
So it's looking right. And I understand Councillor Peacock's concern about wanting to know, being able to compare it to the prior year as a benchmark to see where we've changed. But like I said,
Yep.
I will, when we post it online, I will include the numbers that I do for the fourth quarter variance report. I'll include those in the budget because it'll be done around the same time. So
yeah.
And the other thing to note too is the numbers that I post in those fourth quarter and those variance reports are unaudited.
That's
So
right.
so there will be changes. So
Changes.
there will be to sit down with the auditors, we'll accrue certain expenses, we'll defer certain revenues, that type of stuff, things that may get moved around between accounts, that type of stuff. So there are still, even though we'll do those fourth quarter variance reports in February, there will be differences between those and the year-end financial statements.
Right.
Asset retirement obligation calculations, the landfill calculations, as you know, can have a big swing in how our results look
Right.
from year to year.
And
So-
that can happen in September and October.
and yeah, well,
Hopefully
just
not.
for report 2615, you'll see it's not going to happen.
It's not going to be that late. That's not, I'm not talking about you,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
the
Yeah,
auditors
yeah,
can come quite late,
Yeah.
so. So again, I do have a resolution that's been moved and seconded to approve the budget for 2026, report number 2026.14. Is there any further comment for or against? I will call for a vote. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. The next item we have, it's a resolution that's been moved and seconded to appoint Doan Grant Thornton as auditor for the municipality and Lake Eudora Planning Board and the Public Library. It has been moved and seconded and is open for discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Speed radar data overview, page 37 to 87, which is meant for a lot of reading. Anyway, is there anything overall you want to say, or it's just read it?
So through the chair, as the report states, it's for information only. This will be used part and parcel with the MTO when we get their data to further lobby for our causes in that area.
That's right. Yes.
Sure, I guess if I see anything reading through that, the average speed is 10 kilometers over the limit as I look through all of them on the average. There's some few that are way up in there, but anyway, yeah, I think that's typical. Isn't that what the police always say? They allow you to 10 kilometers. It's a bad thing to do because it happens. So interesting reading anyway.
Yes, Dan, Councillor Calvert?
I think that is good to have this, as I know during our meeting, we said now we can be able to put up those speed signs, so really help. At least it'll bring it to attention to the regular people that like to travel that highway.
And I'm sure that, like myself, when you see that number, you go, whoa, and you back off because you know you're not going to hit it.
Yeah.
It is. It's a good
It's a
reminder.
good thing.
Wayne?
I just recall, the director of operations, saying when the signs were displaying, the average speed was 62 kilometers an hour. And when they were not, it was 73 kilometers an hour. So
Correct.
seems to say to me that the signs do have an effect on driver behavior.
Yes, they do.
Yes. Yes, it does.
Okay, and that was for your information. And now St. James Anglican Church, they've requested some financial assistance for the cemetery, the maintenance and preservation of their cemetery grounds on their property. This is something we do annually. So I believe it's $500. Yes, $500. So the resolution has been moved and seconded and is open for discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Next item, we have change. I gotta see where I gotta put these second ones. Now, E, restricted acts after nomination day, AKA lame duck council. And I believe for information only, Wayne is going to explain or answer any questions on this, if you have any. It tells you what you can and cannot do when you have a lame duck council. And what is a lame duck council?
A lame duck council cannot do certain,
But what is a lame
Thanks.
duck council? Perhaps people.
that's when
listen-
you're certain you're not gonna have, 75% or more persons, that are here now on the council.
Okay,
Yeah, it's explained on page, 90.
right. Okay. No, this is just for those that are listening. They may not understand what a lame duck council is. So there are things we can and cannot do.
They are listed there
Yeah.
on, bottom of 90 and on the top of page 91. Dismissal, hiring of certain employees is there. The disposing or buying, well, actually, it doesn't say buying, but, disposing. And making expenditures exceeding 50,000 if they're not in the budget. If you got them in the budget, you're okay, but if they're not in the budget, you're not. And the other time that you have a lame duck council is if after the election, you know that you don't have 75% of the current people coming back.
Mhm.
Then that council wouldn't have the power to do those things as well.
Any comments, Councillor Campoff?
So I see in the end of your report, Wayne, you're outlining some of the options that other municipalities in Ontario have taken, giving authority to the CAO to make some of those decisions. Is that something that you think is needed for Oliver Papoonge, or
In my opinion, no.
that's simple?
I kind of thought when I read this about the hiring or dismissal of any employee, you're our only employee. You employ all the other persons. Would you not want to have that authority in case for some reason you had to release someone or hire someone?
I don't want to speak for Wayne, but Wayne can't fire me.
No.
Or John.
John.
Oh, I know that. I realize that, but I mean.
I think that's where it's pointed at is the
Yeah.
statutory positions.
It says any employee of the municipality, so, yes.
Just a clarification, really, the August the 21st, when that would come into effect, because that's the end of the closing date. So in October, you have your election, first meeting in November, you have your new council.
only
You only look
twice.
for a very small period of time.
Yeah.
And I read this through there too. We've never done this. There's a 2-month period going to kill the whole thing? I think not, and I would prefer we don't go this route.
Okay. Yes.
Just wanted to further comment that if you look at the first complete paragraph on page 91, the middle sentence says that if there's an emergency, the council can act.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
So if
Yeah.
you,
So we're still covered.
right.
Yeah.
So these other municipalities have done this, but I don't
Thank you.
see the rationale. Maybe they have different circumstances.
Okay.
Okay.
But there were some questions about this. That's why CEO thought he should just let us know. All righty, the next one is the 2026 racetrack schedule. The resolution's been moved and seconded and is now open for discussion. Counselor Peacock?
Thank you. Third paragraph down, it indicates that the schedule notes practice night is on Thursday, the 23rd, which isn't allowed in the bylaw. And that's a school day. Will that affect the residents with kids going to school as far as racing until, is it 10:30 or is it 11? Do they have to be finished by 11, but they can race till 10:30? Is that my understanding?
No, I believe this, they have till 11, but we ask that at 10:30, they stop at 10:30 and then they have that half an hour to clear everyone
clear,
out.
yeah.
But sometimes they have raced until 11:15 and then cleared out.
Mhm.
This is a practice night though, so I don't know if they go that late on a practice night even.
Well, practice night is not all of the vehicles driving around. It's only one at a time, I believe.
Yeah,
So you don't get the whining roar of all of the
that's right.
cars.
Yeah, no. So I think, and it's always been,
No, I don't think
Thursday.
there's any problem. There's all Wednesdays and the 3 weekends, and that's what is in the bylaw with them, so we're good to go.
yes.
So I put together the resolution because I noted that they have the Thursday practice night, and to be in compliance with the bylaw, they should get council approval. So that's why we have this resolution here, and that is wrong, what's in that paragraph there. The Thursday I can see there is the 24th, so I made an error there. It is the 24th.
Okay, Counselor Peacock?
Thank you. And just what happens then? They're aware that they can't do things like they did last year and all of a sudden have an event that isn't on the schedule, as has happened in the past.
This is our resolution. If things change, a resolution can be changed. It would come and ask permission to do something, then the council could vote on that change.
Yes, you do have at the bottom of page 102 on the schedule, weather permitting. So I did communicate to the track manager that when you get the details, send them to me ahead of time so we can see if they need council approval or not.
Okay. Any further questions? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. G, the Roma delegations, we had 3 counselors and our CAO at the Roma conference, and I thought that since we were paid to be there, we should at least talk about what was discussed at these meetings.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to go with the book from front to back. The one was the natural gas expansion. With our discussion with them, of course, was, commenting on how we are in total agreement with expanding natural gas in our community and asking if they had knowledge of anything happening in our municipality. We mentioned that the roads where the people were 100% in favor of paying for it to happen, and it just wasn't being included in their work plan with that's what we do and maybe someday. But I mean, they were happy that we were in favor of the expansion and not against it. We did also ask that they upgrade the distribution systems and upgrade the power systems in our municipality. Then we went to finance. And we talked about the unincorporated areas, how not only were they not paying the appropriate or property taxes, they were getting many items for free, fire department equipment that we had to pay for, and they did not have to follow the building code. So if you had a road with all of Rapunj or any municipality, people living on one side and unincorporated on the other, the person on the other side can just build wherever, whenever on their property. They don't need to follow the building code. They don't need to follow the bylaws in regards to severance, side yards, backyards, well, they listened.
Yeah. And I think that one minister, if I can say, that one minister, he had thought, well, maybe these unincorporated, remember he had said, well, maybe we just get them all incorporated. He says, then he looked at, then he said, no, we can't do that. There's just too much property, eh?
Yeah. Well,
Land.
he did suggest to us as well that perhaps we should
Oh,
just.
yeah, he tried to,
make-
yeah.
And,
That
and
was,
I
we
said-
done the same thing.
I said no, and he said, why? He said, too many roads and not
Yes.
enough people.
Exactly. It was,
It's just too much.
I think they have a little bit better understanding of how vast it is.
Yeah, and it's true. They just have to have the residents there pay their fair share when
Yeah.
it comes to their expenses. And the province knows what their expenses are, so. And then power distribution, we did talk to them with Hydro One in regards to the Morello area and the proper north part of our municipality, how their electrical distribution system, transmission system is old. They cannot, no one can go and put up a yard or full of solar panels because the distribution system can't handle it. So we did discuss that with them as well. Then Ministry of Infrastructure, and I would suggest that Councillor Calvert or Councillor Kempoff can jump in and correct whatever I say because you were there too, so.
Well, we had asked, that would be first. You know, more funding for our fire department, like, cause we have to, you know, put out all this money for our fire trucks, that, and yet we're, you know, and we help the surrounding other municipalities and unorganized, so, I said, possibly you could look at even starting a new stream of funding even, which would benefit us. You know,
And we discussed
somehow,
the cost of a possible cost of a new fire station.
yes, there's,
And like every other area, how we fight to keep our volunteers. You have to kind of appease them to keep them because it's very difficult.
Yeah, so.
So we had a good discussion with them, but again, the Ministry of Infrastructure just really did not agree or
No,
say
they
there was
said,
any chance of any of that happening.
was that them said, check with the Solicitor General or something?
Yeah, they said check with the Solicitor General.
Yeah.
Well, that's
know where
moving it
that's
from
going.
your lap to your lap. It doesn't matter. Nobody's giving it. Yes.
And we've done that. Solgen says we don't do that either. They have that fire protection grant that's very specific just for, you know, cancer prevention, special topics, but Solgen doesn't have a program for a truck or a station.
No. So, and then we also spoke to them about our housing crisis in small municipalities and how when we would like to apply for a grant, first of all, they're very complicated for a small municipality to complete, and also the cost of having them done and not knowing if you're going to have the money or get the money at the end, we can't afford to do that. So they kind of might have thought about that a little bit. They certainly weren't talking about fire equipment, unfortunately. And okay, then we talked about the different grants that we were getting and how they were not they didn't work for us, small communities. They have to look at it differently. They did suggest that if we wanted to apply for a grant, they gave us a phone number and a person. Any assistance you want will help you to complete the grant. So I guess we'll do it that way. Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing, couldn't believe it. We told them we hadn't gotten any more money for the Lakehead Rural Planning in over 20 years. And they went, excuse me, how long? We did have a couple of persons' attention with that comment. And so I'm hoping, against hope, that something will come through. But yeah, honestly, that one gentleman looked like he never heard 40. He said, that many years? Yes, over 20 years, not a cent more. And I said all their money that they had put away has all been spent on their official plan and zoning bylaw work that they're working now. So there's no money. You have to come up with more money to do this. So
I spoke with them yesterday, actually,
Oh.
because we haven't received the 2025 funding yet. And so they said that we should receive it before the end of next week, and I have to contact them if we don't. But it's still just the 40,000.
yes. Oh, yeah, they won't
And
change
that's
last year's.
2025, which screws up our entire budget. And then if we happen to get the 2026 funding in this calendar year, then I don't know what that makes it all look like, but it's very interesting right now.
Right, and I mentioned to them because we still didn't have our money for 2025 and we'd had the problem years past, and they said, oh, you wrote that check out, didn't you? Sure, turn to the person next to you and ask him. You should have it. I said, well, we'll check when we get back, but Obviously, they wrote it after the meeting.
Hmm.
Okay,
Resolution?
yes.
Yeah, I just have a question. I thought it was very interesting on this here. One official noted we have not submitted a new asset management plan and asked to do one, since that's very important. Did you happen to ask them what percent of municipality is updated at all to the extent that we are? Because I think we should have pushed that really hard, because I think we do a good job on it, except we haven't sent it in. I really like to know what percentage of municipalities are way out in the bush that haven't got anywhere near there, and
I-
you didn't think of asking that question.
I don't think that even some that are big cities or whatever have come to that point of being
And
that
I
far.
think that's my point. I think we need to point that out to them. Don't pick on us because we've got where we are already, don't. So that's, yeah, it's too bad. I would have asked that question if I were there
Yeah.
and say where you're at, just for curiosity's sake.
Yeah, around the asset management, the only suggestion, if you do have it again and you meet with them, I would suggest that we need to suggest to them that they need to have different planning standards for different size municipalities. It's one standard across the province. Like, we're lucky, to be honest. We're in a lucky position. But, you know, if you're like Valrita or someone like that, right? Like, you know, like a little town of a couple hundred people, and right, you can't afford to do it yourself because you don't have trained staff, and you can't afford to be a consultant to do it, right? So,
Good point.
so, and then like I said, and so it's the same standard in Toronto. Well, Toronto's different because they got their own act, but same standard in Hamilton as it is here, as it is in, like I said, even smaller towns. So if you do have a future, talk to someone about it. Maybe they need to look at that.
Okay.
And if it was better thought out, probably more people would have it done.
Could be.
Well, and we did also mention to them that we've basically stopped working on our official plan or zoning, even to review it, because every couple of weeks they come up with a new
Yeah.
change, and it's not investigated, it's not even detailed. I've mentioned that we had asked, or you had called and asked about reversing a severance or consent, I should say. And he said, well, you can call our office at any time and we'll help you. And I said, excuse me, it says here we did. And we were told, I don't know, do it yourself, figure it out. And
When you find.
that's right. And he did look at nobody made a comment, but he looked at his staff and he said, you can call anytime. You need to get answers to your questions. But I know. So this is what it did. That's why they mentioned that at times with the changes in planning, they make the announcement, but they haven't got it all figured out yet for months. Well, that doesn't help a small municipality, even a large, but it doesn't help if no one has the answers. You shouldn't be passing these changes without having thought it out first. So anyway, we had a very good discussion with them. And then Ministry of Natural Resources, we talked about the Wildfire Management Act. They did mention, because we talked about the releasing of having the fireworks. You had indicated to that person they could not because there was a restriction in our municipality. They had called the MNR and they had said, you can. They mentioned that you are the one that has the authority to say what happens.
Yeah, that's correct. The problem is that there's conflicting information when they call.
Yeah,
So I say no here, they call the MNR and say, oh yeah, no, you can do fireworks. So
Mhm.
it is the municipality's authority to do it.
right.
But when they call the province, they get different information. So
Yeah.
that's what the hiccup is. And it's across the province. It's,
Well, that's what they said. That whatever ruling they make, it covers everyone in the municipality or whatever let's say they decide that they're going to do something according to their policy. We can't override what they've said, but we can make it stricter in
That's
our
right.
municipality.
yeah, but the operation of fireworks doesn't fall under their permit.
Oh,
It does
okay.
for us.
Okay.
So that's where,
Mhm.
when they ask the question, can I set fireworks off during a fire ban? They say yes, because that's the provincial.
Right.
They don't say
Okay.
you need to talk to your municipality for direction.
That's what they mentioned.
Yeah, and they mentioned actually too that we should actually talk to the MNR, like and say, here's what we do, like a better communication maybe, or just to instill that this is our reg.
Yeah, agreed. One of the challenges is they've got high turnover.
Yeah.
So it's keeping the message to the people that are answering the phone. So it's, yeah.
That's all.
All righty. Was there anything else on the? We did talk about the Shabanda problem and that there wasn't going to be any boots on the ground. They did say that they were working on that item, but that's all that they said. And now you get more information lately from that as well.
And I have more information that we'll talk about it later on.
Okay. Minister of Transportation, interesting. The gentleman that we had a meeting with here, I guess he's the boss or,
Herb,
yeah, Herb.
Villeneuve, I think his name is, and he's the regional manager.
So he was there. We did talk about the speed signs and they said, yes, they were working on it diligently and you would have something by the spring. I'm hoping. We said we really want them up there and we were explained what we felt what good they did to the village. So let me see what else. We mentioned Arthur Street, Twin City Crossroad lights. Yes.
Well, when I seen that, I said, hindsight's always 2020. I see we shouldn't have had Councilor Kemphoff at that meeting talking about a roundabout. I said, here we go again. We lost again. I just had to get that out. I had that in here.
This Councilor Kemphoff was sitting beside me, but I know he didn't agree with the lights.
I just had to highlight that.
Study was done.
He did take my card and said he hasn't got back to me yet, but he said he was gonna get back to me and outline why they decided to go with lights instead of a roundabout.
Yeah.
But our concern was, yes, that it's going to be, construction is not going to happen now until 2017. And we did also bring up the fact that we were concerned since this truck diversion, were they going to abandon the project completely? And they said no, but yeah, that's today they said no. And we did mention that there's more housing coming in the Roslyn area and so on, and those lights really had to be there. Then we did discuss the route they're looking at to extend
Yes.
the bylaw, extend the Chabaco extension or whatever it is, rerouting and widening it. The fact that it's going to go through our landfill site, the fact that they're going to have to go over a railway track and also do a turnaround or whatever it is over the landfill site or near the landfill site. And why are you doing this? That's what we asked. Why are you doing this? You got a perfectly good 1117 right now. Leave it the way it is and start at the other end. And we talked about that quite a bit because we got to stay a little longer. They did have some questions on it. I hope they're seriously thinking about it because as our CAO put in this report, you try and do that to our landfill site, you're not going to get it easily. We'll take this however far we have to take it. Because it cost us so many $1 million to have that landfill site the way it is today. So I'm hoping that they take it, really look at it, good look at it again. Just have to keep fighting. Yes.
Just one thing on that, it was just on the news today. If they do want to take over our landfill site, I see Ottawa has just purchased a piece of property for a landfill site for the tune of $95 million. So I guess if they have $95 million, we might be able to find another place to put the landfill. Yeah, right in my backyard, and I'm up. Yeah, that was interesting.
that's just-
$95 million for a piece of property to put the landfill in Ottawa.
And that's one of the concerns you have when you want to look for land for a landfill site, as you see from some of the municipalities east of here, is finding a place where nobody's upset because it's in their backyard.
That's right.
And that's and then you have to construct everything yet. So well, we estimated that just the engineering controls and stuff we've done now is worth over 3 million. So you're not going to get away with just doing what you want to do. So I sincerely hope that they take a look at starting from the other end, because this extension is only going to put the trucks right back in Kekabeka. It's not
Right.
going to do anything. So leave it the way it is. So, and we also had, of course, Conmee's concerns
Yes.
that, and they were in with us, and
Yeah.
Sheila was invited to talk for a few minutes, but she was adamant, and I respect that she said that she was adamant at the before, when we met before in Toronto, to tell her delegation, we are just sitting with Oliver Papunj. This is not our delegation. So that was, I thought that was
Yep.
respectful of her, but she did speak when she was asked some questions, so. Next one, report not on your list, pothole prevention and repair program transfer payment agreement. That is a long one, and we will leave it up to our Director of Operations to tell us what this is about.
Through the chair, I didn't draft the report.
Oh, that's why I can't find it. Could you explain what this is? Oh,
That's that.
it's right there, yeah.
Yeah, I can do it.
Okay.
This came up in November. We were notified about the pothole program. And John looked it over and sent in an application. It was actually very simple, just here we are, give us some money. And just the 26th, we got a notice that we have $38,000. And this is the transfer payment agreement. We have to do the transfer payment agreement to get the 38,000. And it's kind of nice to see that costs back to April of 2025 are eligible. So
Okay.
Through the chair, I have a little bit of information in regards to this potential. It's not for going backwards in time. It's for 2026 capital season is the clarification I received.
really, that's not what it says in the transfer payment agreement.
Everybody's transfer agreement has rushed to get out to meet a certain timeline, but it is not for going back in time. It's for going forward in time.
So we're going to sign this and then get another one later?
It's been corrected in another municipality already.
But that's good news, though. The 38,000 still can be used for potholes in the future, and they're never leaving.
Yeah, through the chair, the little high level that I did do is every municipality applied got it, a certain value or all value, but they did do a misprint in their blanket approach to it, and it is for 2026 capital.
Yes,
That
that
can be
makes sense.
verified after the meeting, if
Okay.
that's true.
So
Because
should
the
we?
timelines to meet the submissions are tomorrow for some
Yeah,
of them.
So.
I think we
no-
should pass this bylaw and rescind it if necessary.
Correct, yes.
No, we have to do that.
Yeah, don't turn that way, 38,000. turn it
No.
away. Yeah.
Okay, so that resolution has been moved and seconded. Any further discussion, Councillor Campoff?
So, yeah, so the way I'm reading it here on page 22 of this document, it's saying that the only costs from April 1st, 25 to March 31st, 26 are eligible. So this,
That's correct, but it's out by 1 year apparently.
oh,
So from
Okay.
26 to 27.
oh, so there's whatever.
Well, and that just makes sense because this didn't come out till November.
Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah,
doing, like, they wouldn't give us any water money backdated, so I was surprised if they'd give us, any pothole money from work we've already done.
Councillor
I
Campoff?
just want to confirm with the Director of Operations, we will spend whatever money they give us though, right?
On potholes.
Through the chair, we exceed that value to be here.
Yes. Oh, okay. So again, we have that resolution moved and seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And the next item is the Fire Prevention Grant Transfer Payment Agreement, another agreement we have to sign. It's been moved and seconded. Any questions? I would imagine it's the money that you told us about previously. Councillor Peacock?
Thank you. With regard to this fire prevention grant, it indicates that we didn't get as much as we were looking for, I understand. So is it possible the Generac system from the Kakabeka Fire Hall was in the budget, and then it was out of the budget, and it was in? And I'm just wondering if perhaps the 63,000 for the Generac estimate come from reserves to offset the lesser of the payment that we received?
So to clarify, I asked for way more than what they expected to
Yes.
give us. So the expectation was in the neighborhood of, I think, 16,000 per station, which comes out to 96.
Mhm.
I put in for about 170. So we got less than what I asked for, but more than what
You really need.
we were expecting to get. So it's kind of a play on words. So we got more than we were expecting to
Mhm.
get on the grant. And the Generac has got nothing to do with this grant. This grant is for cancer prevention. And they added one bucket in there for EV or electric vehicle equipment, which I included in the application. And I haven't read the transfer agreement yet, but it's the same as last year. My understanding is here's a lump sum that you're gonna get. Anything that's in your application, you can apply for or spend the money on. So in our procurement meeting, I'm gonna look at we've got this much money, which are the items in the budget that we put in, are we gonna cover off on?
Okay. Right.
Yeah, if you take a look at the last paragraph of the report, that's what it says, that
I see, yeah.
we have more expenditure than revenue, so we have to decide, what are we going to reduce for expenditures, or are we going to ask council to get some money from someplace to do all the expenditures? That's a decision coming up,
Short.
not today.
Yes.
And I think it's important that the direction we were getting was to overestimate on your applications to show that there's a need for money.
Mhm.
So they were saying, like, if you think you're gonna get 10,000, don't try to hit 10,000, go way above it. And then they'll say, okay, here's the money you're gonna get. And I think it works because they doubled it this year over last year. And I think a
also-
big part of that is because of the demand that was being
And also shows those that are quote higher up that there is a need for money for those things. So they'll put out more and maybe next year, like you say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we got more than our allocation, I think, because there weren't as many departments that put in.
Oh.
So they have $1 million and they're gonna distribute that. If everybody puts in, it's 10,000. If half of them don't, then those that do put in are gonna get 20,000. So I think that's why we got more than what we.
Perfect. Again, we have the
Just a
resolution to
question.
sign that. Oh,
Yeah,
Councillor.
you're about $66,000 short from what we put in the budget. What would you drop off if we said we're gonna stick with the 102,000? What is key? Is there anything that wasn't key that you really needed, or was just a wish list?
So it is a wish list, if you want to look at it that way. For example, I have to look at the exact things that are put in. I don't have in front of me, but I asked for 10 sets of bunker gear that's spare gear. That's a wish list item. That's one. If we got all the money, I would say let's do it. But we didn't get the money. The diesel exhaust is higher priority than so that's an example of where I'm not going to pursue the extra sets of bunker gear.
So in other words, what I'm hearing now, what we should be doing, just change the budget to 102,000, because if it's a wish list, like, I mean, you don't have to spend it, why would we?
Well,
Yeah, except, yes, but it's the, yeah, we could change the budget, but in the budget, it said that these items are if we get the money.
Yeah,
So-
Then.
it's in there.
then you
Yeah,
gotta leave it.
and in the budget, it had the 168,000 that we put in to offset that full amount. So we
Oh, okay.
could change it, but then we'd have to wait till we agree or I decide what we're gonna spend the 100.
No, then that's fine. Okay, if the funding, if that's what it said, that's fine. I'm good with that.
Yes.
Yeah, our procurement bylaw says, you gotta have a budget to spend money.
Yes.
And we had the fire grant at 168,205, and now it isn't. So administration is not authorized to spend more than what this grant is.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Okay. All righty. Any more questions? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. We now have the minutes from the museum, page 131 to 161. This is for your information.
I have a question on that one. Page 143, I think I marked here. Let me have a look. There's an interesting statement. Yes, page 143. Found a large collection of money. While cleaning the general store, the money is now safely stored in secure location at municipal office. Why is it the municipal office? It was found there. Why isn't it going to the museum board? And how much money are you talking? You're talking a large sum. A large sum to me is thousands of dollars. But $100 is not a large amount. What's the answer?
I don't recall off the top of my head the exact amount, but it was not thousands of dollars. It was a smattering of old coins and bills and stuff, and they are right now basically treated the same as petty cash for the museum. So
Mm.
if the decision is to, to put that in as museum for a reserve fund for the museum to use, we can use it. Right now, it's just.
Well, no, it just,
Yeah.
it depends, a large amount, you see.
Oh, no, I like.
If it wouldn't have said
Large
that,
is
put all
relative,
petty
right.
cash and leaving the petty cash. If it's only a few here and there, leave it in the petty cash. I mean, that's it. So that's.
Old coins and you find out that one's worth 50,000, you'll let us know, right?
Yeah.
So we need somebody to go through and
Just check.
Good
check and
point.
see what they're worth.
Sometimes people say,
Yeah, well, that was the only question I have on those minutes. I thought that was very interesting.
yeah,
Hmm.
And you never know really what's in those pile of.
especially in a museum, somebody may
Yeah.
have found an old coin and put it away and now you're finding that money, the old money, it might be
Yeah,
worth something.
I
who
know.
knows?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else? No, all righty. Then we have the District Social Services Board minutes and the Thunder Bay District Health Unit minutes. We have bylaws. Just looking to see now, bylaw A, there was a change. It should have read 2026 and it does show it in mine. It's just letting you know that that was changed. So this bylaw has been moved and seconded, is open for discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. The next item was the bylaw for the, no, there's few more here that are not in our agenda. The next one was the transfer payment agreement with the Ministry of Transportation, which we just discussed. And it had to sign that agreement. This bylaw has been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And the next one is the transfer payment agreement for the Solicitor General for the fire protection grant, which we just discussed. It's been moved and seconded to pass that bylaw. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And petitions, we have the Thunder Bay District Municipal League Conference and sponsorship. It'll be held in Nipigon on March 5th and 6th. So we have a resolution asking your agreement to provide some financial support to sponsor the league in an event on behalf of Oliver Papunj. Anyone has any thoughts or ideas?
Yeah,
Yes.
I sit on that and yeah, they're really just looking for like, if we can get our numbers in for actually attendance and what we're looking for as a sponsor, like how much we were willing to.
Sponsor a
Contribute.
coffee or a lunch or.
Yeah, they're all broke down here in
Yes.
the sponsor designation. Whenever
Okay.
council feels that they could offer to them, we'd be greatly appreciated by the league.
And any thoughts of what we should?
What are you suggesting, Mr. Calvert?
Well, I think most of them are in the $1,500 range, 1,000 to 1,500, somewhere in that range.
Okay, so I will put forth no, I can't. Someone put forth, you just put forth a motion to sponsor $1,500
Towards our
towards the
conference.
Thunder Bay District Health League Conference. Any further
So
discussion?
moved.
Seconder, we've got a motion and a seconder. Any further discussion on that? With that, we would be then a gold sponsor.
Yeah,
Of course, they'll
get a few perks with it, like a
Right.
free registration and dinner
free
and
dinner ticket and,
usual.
yeah. Okay. Yes,
We also need to
Yeah.
decide who's going to be
Yeah,
attending.
numbers.
that's right, that's next. So we've got that.
So it's on
Just
the
to be
same
complete-
resolution.
Yeah, just that part is completed, we think. Now who is interested in going in March to Nipigon? Are you interested?
No,
No,
I am not.
I'm sorry. Income tax time, I can't leave.
I don't-
So we need to have people who are interested.
I'll go.
Okay. Counselor Kempoff, Counselor Calvert. Did you-
My life's on hold.
Okay, so we've got two. Anyone from administration wish to go? No. So we have two persons. Perhaps one of them can go for free now.
Yeah, that's I say. It's
Vote for-
So that's all right. So I have the resolution. It's been moved and seconded to provide $1,500 towards their conference, and also that Counselor Calvert and Counselor Kempoff will be attending. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Next item is, we have an email. This does not, oh, okay, this is later on. We have a site readiness funding. These are ones that were discussed at our last meeting, and the resolution has now come forward to recognize and accept alternative servicing methods for septic systems for wastewater, drilling wells, propane hydro, etc. And as they're not recognized right now, we had asked that they supply funding for those items as well, to change the criteria for their grants. This resolution's been moved and seconded. Any discussion on this? It's on page 6. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Then we have support for the steel and lumber sectors. That was a item that we also talked about last meeting. Okay, any discussion? It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Yep.
Opposed? Carried. And then we have the Municipal Accountability Act 2025, which we talked about earlier about code of conduct. They discussed it, but never really, so far, haven't heard anything on it. It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Then we have self-defense protections and rising home invasion, giving you the authority to protect yourself if someone comes into your home.
That's correct.
I've now got my baseball bat beside my bed.
Don't you have 3 6-foot, 6 foot, plus
Yeah.
young men?
Just kidding. Oh, I'm not worried. I'm not worried at all. Well, that's what I'm worried about. Okay, so the resolution has been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Then we have the Building Hope campaign, the letter requesting assistance in regards to the campaign. Yeah, the team. This is for the food. What do they call the one in Thunder Bay? RFDA. The RFDA, yes, because I keep thinking of the other ones I'm on. They're asking for assistance financially. I will say the same thing I always say. That's not what the taxpayer gave us their money for. And if I want to support them, I can do it privately. And if you don't, then you don't have to do it, but we shouldn't do it with taxpayer dollars.
Yep.
Any further discussion?
Thank you. And they're looking to come and speak with us. And I'm thinking at the same time, does some of that funding go to the rural food cupboard?
The rural food cupboard gets not money. The rural food cupboard gets food.
Food from them?
Yes, every month. And they just have an order. They place an order of what they need. And if it's there, they will get it. It's delivered once a month.
Because it would be interesting to, to see what their thoughts are as well with regard to, what their situation is.
Well, we're all individual food banks. They are the kind of the headquarters. And if they have what we need, then they'll send it. And if they don't, sometimes you get 20 boxes of something you don't know what to do with because it wasn't asked of you, but you give it to people that are needing it. So, okay, so I would suggest to say we appreciate all the work that they've done for the regional and local food banks. But I can't agree to giving taxpayer dollars.
I agree with you there.
Our taxpayers can individually do that if they
Yep.
wish. Okay.
Right.
Then we have an email from Andrew Sinclair in regards to saying a few words on February the 2nd at 8 p.m.
You available, Mayor Lucy?
I got to look in my book.
That'd be nice to have our mayor there.
February. That is Monday.
Yeah.
Groundhog Day. I'll be okay. I can
Good.
do it.
Also, if I may speak to that, they also have prizes they raffle off and so on. Have we got anything at all in our cupboard for promotion? Like, remember we used to have those little T-shirts that said all Papoons? Could we maybe donate a couple of them, give them to Lucy, take there, and they could put it on the table and people bid on them, and it just a kind of a fundraiser to go and I thought, here's our a suggestion that we could do something, and so I would like to see us give us a couple, 2 or 3 of those shirts and then to put on the price table there.
We might have a couple of fire department caps.
Or some whatever, whatever you can come up with. I think it's kind of a nice gesture. We should be proud they're coming out of Kakavaka, and they are going, instead of just having the Kakavaka Falls, we also have a Kakavaka Curling Club that produces pretty good curlers, so.
That's right.
That might be nice
does.
to have something to put on the table. I appreciate that.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll take that with me. Okay. The next item we have is, that's it. Now we have petitions and communications, the major transit investment.
We do have
Oh.
a resolution. And a resolution for you to attend.
Okay. Okay. All righty. We have a resolution moved and seconded that I am able to attend. If you don't want me to go, don't put your hand up. All in favor? Opposed? No, I'm not opposed. Okay, I didn't realize there was a resolution for that. All right, number 11, the major transit investment. Supporting the purchase of 55 new subway trains. And Thunder Bay District Municipal League. Their minutes, the re-election of the board leadership at the Thunder Bay Police Services Board. Let me see. A letter from Dodie Legrasic in regards to wanting support, wanting us to participate in the impact assessment process to ensure the concerns of our residents regarding the risks and hazards associated with the transportation of nuclear waste are adequately addressed. I'm not quite sure what they're looking for. Alrighty, and then the next item we had. Question, Councillor Peacock.
Thank you. I do understand their concerns with regard to transportation, but the highways aren't our jurisdiction, so, and what goes on that highway isn't our jurisdiction, so I'm just not sure what kind of support they're looking for.
Okay. We now have new business, Councillor Campoff. Nothing. Councillor Peacock.
Thank you. Early, I think 2 weeks ago, question for Operations Department, the North Stars had a hockey game at the Gardens and the fire alarm went off and they had to evacuate the building. I'm just wondering if we have a protocol of any kind to follow at the Northwest should that happen.
Yes, we all leave the building.
Okay.
We have lots of exit doors
Yeah.
behind us.
Yeah.
And wherever you're sitting, there's lots of exit doors. You just get up and leave.
We don't have a practice on that.
No, I don't think that we would appreciate you practicing that, especially if it's -40 outside, but no, I think that we're, as adults, we would take care of each other and the children, we would get out.
And I was forwarded information that came from the Roma conference, Ontario Investing to Protect Rural Communities. And the province announced a second intake of $20 million in Rural Ontario Development Program at Roma. I'm just wondering if it could be looked into, because I note that the city's getting $9 million for the water infrastructure. Emo got 286,000 from the feds, 238 from the province, and their portion of it was 191. So, and that's with regard to potable water and infrastructure. So I know our water system is costing us a lot, but there's no other funding that we can possibly reach out to for.
I believe that we have asked for
anything?
funding for the water system, but we were under a time crunch. It had to be done. We couldn't wait a year for any. But if funding comes through, our administration always applies for it. When they make announcements at NOMA, that's all they are, is announcements. They say, we are going to give you, everybody goes like this, and then they walk out the door and they figure out how they're going to do it. Because they haven't got the program ready. It's just an announcement telling people it's coming.
If you share that information with the treasurer, I'll have people look into it.
Yeah, but if that, like I said, if that was just at one of their announcements, then
Yeah.
it will be coming. But if there is ever any funding, you always apply.
Or could be a rehash of an announcement that
That's
they
right.
made.
Yeah, I can talk to it a bit. There is the Rural Ontario Development Program. That's got to do with doing strategic plans and things like that, and you get funded like 50%. So it's not really something that I think would be of much interest to us, doing that type of thing. And the other part, they're talking about 700 million for different municipalities, but that's closed.
Yeah.
So it's just saying we're going to give these people money, but you can't get any more. So it doesn't really help much.
Just a question, now that you've mentioned strategic plan, I know we had one done many years ago. We have it. Are we required to send that along when we request funding for projects or not?
Generally not.
Okay, no, I'm just wondering because I know when we did it, we had a group, a committee that was working on these things, and it was mentioned at that time, oh, you should do it because when you apply for funding, you have to have that strategic plan. So
Yeah, well, when this term of council started, we talked about doing a strategic plan, hiring a consultant and doing that, and council said, no, we won't. Not spend the money on that type of thing, and we did a council term plan instead.
right.
And that economic development strategic plan that was done in 2016, that's the type of thing that you could redo if you wanted with this kind of a grant program.
Okay. I just feel the asset management plan is almost a strategic plan right there for the whole municipality. So, okay, just was a question because someone had mentioned it at when this was originally done, that it should be, but it was probably the consultant who was being paid. Okay. Councillor Peacock?
Thank you. Just a couple of other things. If anyone's interested, AMO has virtual training tonight on, if anyone's interested in putting their name forward for upcoming election, there is a program on virtually if you'd like to attend. And you all received my emails with regard to the building tracker and the roads bylaw update. So I appreciate administration's forwarding that to you. And just a thumbs up, I guess. I had a comment from someone who had attended a recent funeral where the firefighters were there.
Oh, yeah.
And they were appreciated that they were in uniform. So it was acknowledged. So thank you.
Councillor Calvert?
Yeah, actually very glad to see we got that money for that patching and that. So it seemed to be quite a simpler process than these other ones, eh? So it's good to see. Hopefully they do more like that.
Yeah, it was simply filling out all of her papoons and putting
Yeah,
mine in Wayne's name.
That's nice. Anyways, yeah, there's that. And actually, I'm taking another one of those courses tomorrow. That Northern Ontario thing's putting on, but the Indigenous training, yeah. It's also what's going on.
Good. Any new business, Councillor Viss?
Well, I just one thing again, I come back, it seems like I'm picking on Donna today, but it's not my intent. She brings up a lot of good issues and has a lot of value to it, but when you bring up the building permits and the tracker and all that. You have to remember, we haven't had the opportunity of being 31 years in an office that has the inside out. I really don't know or any detail how it all works. Nor do I have any intention wanting to learn that, because I think that's why we hire staff to be here. And so I appreciate what you're doing to the extent, but maybe somehow, like, it's nice that you send it to us, but it doesn't mean a whole lot to be done. I really, what am I doing to do with the thing? I don't know. I hope we have qualified staff that are looking after things. And maybe, and some of those points you make, they're very good, but maybe you should just settle that with the planner. And yeah, I don't have a problem you sharing it, but there's no response I can give you because I don't know anything about the operation and planning department.
And I appreciate that fact. The issue that I have is that time and time again, we're passing bylaws around this table and they aren't adhered to.
Okay.
Can you tell me which one isn't been adhered to when it came to the tracking of the,
Like 6 months and they have to reapply. Well, we had permits on there from 2024.
Okay.
And things like that. So, and I've asked that in the past. And so I thought, well, and we got a duplex that's 4 building permits and it shows that they're still, according to the last list, perhaps they paid, but they're already under construction and the permit hasn't been issued. So those are kind of things, because then we're missing out on assessment. If those buildings are built and the permit is still outstanding to be completed or paid for, then just a follow-up with to ensure that, one, they're inspected and built properly, because you don't want something to come back to us and someone sue us because of a building issue that was built without permit. So
Yeah,
I
say to you,
appreciate
Donna,
that.
you make some very valid concerns, but I don't know that. You see what I'm trying to tell you? And I don't know how else to handle it, but I appreciate what your concerns, they are concerns. There's no doubt about that. Maybe we can deal them with internal with the staff. I don't know. I just wanted you to know that I appreciate what you do, but I can't help you.
did you want to comment, Carrie, on the list?
Only that the bylaw has always said at the discretion of the CBO, and we contact these people regularly and we're always on it. That's why they stay on the tracker. So if it was a concern that the CBO felt that we needed to actually abandon an application, then that would happen, but
It's up to the chief building
it's
official.
full administrative that we take care of that stuff.
That's right. So,
Inspector, okay.
yeah.
Anyway, that's all. I just want, I appreciate what Donna does. She does her homework. There's no
Mhm.
doubt about that, but like my input is
Oh, you're
very,
at-
very
yeah,
limited, and I
yeah.
want you to know that. So it's not that I'm ignoring you. It's just that I just don't understand the system.
Well, when I was first elected, I asked Wayne, I said, where do I begin? How do I get this information? And his response was, what do you want to know? So,
Okay.
so I've taken it
There you
upon
go.
myself
You're doing your thing.
to look for
That's-
myself. So
Okay.
thank you.
So, but now we know administration is on top of it. And
Okay.
it's a chief building official's decision. So we don't have to worry.
That's all I have.
Okay. Any other new business from any of the administration that is sitting here before we go to closed session?
Just a quick update. So the money has been transferred to the One Jib account. That happened. So we're now proud jibbers, I guess. And I also received an email from Infrastructure Ontario, and we're going tomorrow. I think they're going to approve our loans for the work that we've done in 2024. Better late than ever.
That's right.
So,
Okay.
so that's for the fire trucks and Kakabaka.
Right. Perfect. And otherwise, everything is fine with administration, no new business? Okay. We now have to resolved into closed session. The resolution has been moved and seconded to at 10:20 a.m. resolve into closed session. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. We will now take a 5-minute, 10-minute break. Right. Okay, we will reconvene the council from the closed session, the time being 12:10 PM. Yeah, the resolution has been moved and seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And we have the closed session minutes. The resolution has been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of the closed session of November 26th, and January the 15th and 28th. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And we now have a confirming meeting resolution. I think the number was wrong. It doesn't matter anyway. I noted it. The confirming meeting resolution has been moved and seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And we have a resolution to adjourn the meeting, the time being 12:10 PM. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. We did the most in 1 minute.